Walkers. That's like what Creator makes it look like. He is 6-1 in PvP, and that's the other thing that really comes into this, because Koreans always look at stats first when they make these predictions. Trust me, I do a prediction show, and we'll be doing a recording for that tomorrow, and that is what they look at before and above all else. But I look at this and I think, well, Creator definitely has a good chance of winning this match. But his opponent is doing better. Creator is now also in this really stressful position where he needs to win or his team is losing 0-3.
Yeah.
So,
you know, Creator's a guy, I feel like out of all the matchups here, this is the one that Prime has the best chance to take. It's PvP, it's on Maze, new strategies are coming out, maybe Creator throws something, throws Classic for a loop. And Creator, you know, he has a lot of energy about him. He does decently well. He doesn't get too nervous during these matches, and once he wins, he's always really, really happy as well. Classic over here, on the other hand, he hasn't played a lot of PvP, but he's 2-0. One of those being against State, actually.
That's the other thing to consider. I mean, you look at the 5-1, you're like, well, that's 5-1. And you look at the 2, you're like, well, I mean, that's 2. That's not as many games, but he's played in so many other leagues, like the GSL, for example, and his in-house training with some of the best Protosses in the world.
Yeah, it's that. He's on SKT. I just value him more as a player.
Well, let's find out. Creator needs a win right now. If he loses, it's all over. He's up against Classic. Let's jump into the map. Maze.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Up here in the top left on Maze in the blue for Prime, it is Creator.
And his opponent spawned horizontally with him for SK Telecom T1 is Classic. We're on Maze again here for another Protoss versus Protoss, and we've seen basically all sorts of builds on this map. I really feel like the air style at cross spawns is probably the best way to play the map, but I think that with all the Blink Stalker plays we've seen, there are ways to get around this, ways to punish this, ways to be aggressive early on as well. Creator is bouncing like a bouncy ball in his booth right now. Creator seems to be one of the players who gets most positively affected by stress out of anyone on the Prime team.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was saying before. He gets this energy about him that's, it's more like he uses the nervous energy to fuel him into just forcing himself to play the best. When it's a more important matchup, I feel like I favor Creator more so than any other player in like a really important matchup in terms of how much better he gets as a player in his play. So, you know, definitely something to note about Creator here.
I like what you're saying. Well, it's going to take a little bit of time for these players to actually get their builds geared up, as we don't see a Nexus first for either of them. And things are kind of taking a slow turn here. Brendan, what is your, or who is your favorite Thomas the Tank Engine character?
What?
I just asked you that question right now. I mean, who did you enjoy playing Brio with the most with him? Because you and I both did this when we were like 5 years old.
The thing about that is that I was very young, and I liked Thomas because he was like the main guy. He was blue. Blue was my favorite color.
Yeah.
And the other ones were red and green, two colors that I didn't really like. So my brothers would always get Thomas and Gordon. So I was left with Percy or James. I didn't like either of those two.
Well, Percy was clearly the worst character in the show.
Oh, God.
He always just caused problems. I can't really think of anything that James ever did except like get stung by a bee on the nose once and then get really mad. I liked Gordon. He always seemed angry but wise.
He's like Tywin Lannister, man.
Yeah. Yeah, Gordon actually. Yeah, Gordon is Tywin Lannister. Yeah. Actually.
We've solved it.
We solved it. We figured it out.
We've made the connection between Thomas the Tank Engine and
thing is, if you look at their faces too, I'm like, yeah, I really see it.
It makes sense.
It's all coming together, Brendan. I'm glad we had this discussion because now I need to go home and write down a theory on why Game of Thrones is actually loosely based on Thomas the Tank Engine, a children's show.
Oh boy.
Thing is, like, who's the top hat man? Then
Sir Topham Hat.
Yeah, Sir Topham Hat.
One of the greatest names, by the way, in any cartoon. or any show just in general. Sir Topham hat.
Was
Like,
he?
Jesus.
Is he like actually the Mad King? I don't know.
I don't know. That's a hard one to make.
That's a tough one. We'll have to think about that a little bit further.
We gotta put our heads together and think about that one.
But we have actually in this game a faster Phoenix build for Classic, but counter Stargate for Creator with a safe Nexus, because that's what Creator does. He just takes safe Nexi. I think these two are actually just looking at this game going, okay, Phoenixes can scout, and also they're the first step to taking an air advantage. And if I can take an air advantage early on, then I can just, later on when it becomes that air battle that's likely to occur, I'm going to be the one who's ahead and is able to control the game with Phoenixes, which can harass. Because if you go Void Rays first, you can get scouted. Your opponent can try to counter composition you before you get that critical mass, and then you can't really harass with Void Rays in this matchup because they're too slow. They don't do enough damage quickly enough.
The one thing I had to note is that I kind of disliked Creator's play slightly, being very critical, just because he didn't really know what Classic, was going for.
Yeah, it cost him here.
He kind of just threw down a Nexus and made a Stargate after that. If Classic was going something aggressive, Creator was just dead. And now even with this build, I mean, he's got a Nexus up, but Classic has the Stargate up first, and he could actually, he can't park over that Stargate, but he's going to have the advantage in Phoenixes. He's already 4-1, and this is tough to play behind for Creator here.
I mean, he can't even mine from his base just yet.
Yeah.
Because of this.
Even if he makes like a probe there, he's got the Phoenixes right over that Nexus.
Yeah, he's not getting anything done over there.
No, I have to say I don't really like this build of the Creator.
I think it's a build that's okay. It's good against most normal openings that aren't Phoenix openings. Like, Phoenixes seem to be the best build against this. Because a Blink Stalker build or even a DT build would probably fail against this. But in this situation, like on this map, as air is being more developed, it's definitely not the right one in this case. And he's going to be significantly behind as a result. Because back at home, the Nexus is already finishing up, so he's not really gaining anything out of having a Nexus faster, because he's going to saturate his base right now, and he's even going to go gases first. Fleet Beacon going up. It's happening.
I like this, actually. He has a full scout on what Creator's doing, and he's like, I can actually throw this down super early. Use this to my advantage. If he gets the range, if they go into Phoenix versus Phoenix and he gets the range first, like, goodbye to all the Phoenixes of Creator.
Yeah, I mean, it was once written on a tablet that one range Phoenix can kill 10 unranged Phoenixes.
Wise man once wrote that down long ago.
It was once written, like, in about 500 BC.
Back when they used to play StarCraft on rocks.
Yeah, back then when people would just, make Phoenixes out of, like, leaves, and that was like you did it at APM. The thing about range is, if you have range and you fight, you can, because of the way Phoenixes launch lasers and fire while moving, they have this moving shot. So even if your opponent has more Phoenixes than you, while you're running away, while he's chasing you, he's taking damage but not dealing it. It's just like this massive advantage that you get.
Yeah, and as long as you're on top of your micro, you can always just, you could even take out all the Phoenixes of his.
Thing is, when you
lose one of yours,
when you race or when you run away, like if Creator is like, oh wow, he has more Phoenixes than me, and tries to run away. You can't really run away in Phoenix versus Phoenix either, because if as long as he's moving at the same speed as you, as Phoenix has the same movement speed, you're going to always be doing damage. But if you have, if you have this range upgrade, you can actually choose which unit you kill while you're chasing, because you just move that fast and you can go ahead. So he's switching into Void Rays now. He knows that Creator is switching out of Phoenixes. He's seen, okay, you're trying to do some sort of weird timings, maybe Void Rays or something. Maybe Blink Stalkers or something, so I'm going to get Void Rays. That's pretty safe against basically anything.
I love this. I'm loving Classic's play right now. He's taking control of the air. He's like, all right, I have control of the air. I'm going to put down 2 extra Stargates rather.
Kills another one, kills the last one here.
Yep, he's going to take full control of the air. And we saw what Sora did to his ass in that game. Oh boy.
I mean, I think this game might just already be over.
Yeah.
He's lost so much. He's like going to kill these rocks now that he used to defend just in case to take a third base. What is Creator doing? He's making a robotics that's not going to be useful at all, except for observers to let him know that he's dead. When he sends out across the map, he's like, oh yeah, you do have a lot of Void Rays. That's pretty tough to deal with. The Templar Archives is going to be for Archons, but Blink Stalker Archon's not really a composition known to be standard or work against any sort of PvP comp.
That wasn't written on any tablets.
No, that was never written on a tablet in the past.
That one doesn't exist.
That was like written on an essay that was incorrect, that failed the test.
That got an F.
Thing is, like, what else can he do? He's already built enough Blink Stalkers to... He needed to build Blink Stalkers because he needed to defend the Phoenixes. Doesn't make Stalkers, then the Phoenixes kill everything, okay? That's a first problem. So he has to make Blink Stalkers. Now that he has Blink Stalkers, he doesn't want to build Zealots or Charge Zealots when he's stuck on 2 bases, because then he's got a composition that doesn't really have enough Zealots with Charge or enough Blink Stalkers, so it's a bit awkward. So he wants to take a 3rd base. The problem is he can't take a 3rd base because his probes keep getting killed by these Phoenixes, and also there are Void Rays out there that are going to kill his 3rd base, as we've already seen before. So he's kind of checkmated here, and that's what happens in PvP with Phoenix versus Phoenix battles. If you get behind early on, you can even start picking off these Stalkers. I don't know how much I really like that, but he's just going to go for the Nexus here. He's got a recall available.
Yeah,
He can do whatever he wants,
He
honestly.
can really just do whatever he wants.
He really can.
He needs to take care of his Mothership Core, make sure that does not get feedback.
Whoa! That was a bit overzealous there.
Yep, that was overzealous.
You can't do, like, everything that he wants, but he could, like we said, basically do everything he wants. That was a bit scary. I think he wanted to get that High Templar because the High Templar was waiting there to feed back his Mothership Core.
Yeah. Creator taking a very similar approach to what Zest did, minus all of the chargelets.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna eventually maybe be able to get those if he can get a bit of extra mineral mining. Probe's running away here. Storm is coming up, albeit a bit late. It's still going to be important to have the Storm against the Void Rays.
And look at this. He's going to come in here, get a bunch of probes, get a
Mothership
Core.
Going to get this Phoenix, or the High Templar.
Oh, God.
That's a funny battle. The Phoenixes would love to pick up a High Templar, but if you have a High Templar there, you can feed back all the Phoenixes. He just wasn't quick on the draw there. I mean, look at the supplies. I mean, you guys, I was about to read off the unit number to you, but I look on your screen and I see it's already displayed. It's just, there are, in just a second, more Void Rays than there are Stalkers. By the way, Void Rays are the counter to Stalkers, not the other way around, as you might be led to believe if you look at the help station, if you press like F12. I mean, the Stalker is a small armored unit that doesn't stack. So when you have more Stalkers than can all fire at once, you have to blink back, or blink forward to get all their damage out. But whereas the Warriors all stack on top of each other, they're going to do the full damage no matter what. And that full damage is bonus versus armor, plus the prismatic alignment. Good luck with a less Stalker count than there are Void Rays. You're going to need great Storms.
Yep.
And I don't even see any High Templar with this army right now. Just going to fight these Stalkers straight up. Unless there's any Storms to worry about, he doesn't have to worry about anything.
No, he's just going to fight it straight up. Luck is exactly what Creator needs, and I don't even think that can help him now. The entire army, all of the Stalkers are going down. The Zealots are just watching.
This looks comical.
It really does.
This is better preparation. This is a better way to play the map. This will become, by the way, the standard to play on this map. I don't even think that's like a theory or outlandish to me to say. We've already seen it twice this week. Creator obviously was thinking ahead, thinking like, you know what, I'm going to get a riskier expansion and then I'm going to play the same style. He certainly knows this is how the composition that he should have been building. It's just that he got a little bit unlucky with the spawning locations and the build that Classic chose. And it turns out if you get ahead earlier, that's all you need to do to win. So, I mean, the Creator didn't play this badly. You get those Phoenixes in your main base so early and you lose control of the air, then what else can you do? It's just a snowball effect. And I don't fault Creator for the build he chose. It just turns out that Classics is better, especially for the spawning locations. Creator did not scout.
Yep.
And it comes back to bite him here. GG.
Yep. GG. You covered it all there. Classic. Better prepared. Very nice build. Good spawning locations for him as well. And he's going to take 3-0 for SK Telecom, making Prime look silly.
Indeed. Prime, it won against SKT last time, but this time SKT makes it look like it was a fluke.
I have to say, SKT is coming into every single game in round 3 a ton more prepared. You have to think that after round 2, their team wasn't happy, their sponsors weren't happy, the coach wasn't happy. No one was happy over there at SKT. And now they're showing what they really should have been since round 1. This incredibly strong team. With this 3-0, they're going to be now 3-0 in games, and they're going to be +8.
They're pulling a Jin Air, Brendan.
That's a 3-0, 3-0, and a 3-1.